Hello, welcome back to the long-awaited return of this cooking channel. I hope you guys have loved waiting for any sort of content at all. Not because I'm lazy, but definitely not because I'm lazy. More along the lines of that I'm lazy. But, however, we're gonna bring it back. We're gonna ease it in slowly. And I'm gonna make for you today something special that I hold very near and dear. Is my own special homemade salsa. What do we have here? We have a bunch of fresh herbs, Fresno chili peppers, and a bunch of other condiments, olive oil, white wine vinegar, salt, pepper, and I'll go over them and explain how we're going to use them and how it's all going to come together. So first, beforehand, we're going to deal with these chili peppers first, or these Fresno peppers first. So when you deal with peppers, you always want to give them a good roll on. The reason why you roll them is because it breaks up all the internal seeds. And you just kind of, I have a little bag right here where I put all my trash. It's a very good thing to do whenever you cook. Have like a little bag next to you. And we cut them very finely, quite thin. We do that for each. I like Fresno peppers a lot. They're not too spicy, but they have that nice kick to them. What's great about making your own salsa at home is that it's your own recipe. You know what you don't like, you know what you like. It's always the worst thing in the world when you go to a restaurant and they make a salsa that's either too wet or too dry, or is swimming in in tomatoes, diluting the flavor. It's terrible. This recipe here takes very little effort at all. Takes maybe about 15 minutes of your time, 10-15 minutes. But you have to think, this is going to yield a lot of salsa. Well, for one person, and depending how much you like your salsa. Shallot. France, they make shallots with everything. They basically use it as a replacement for onions. You want to cut it quite thinly. Transfer what we have here into our bowl, just so we can keep our area clear. Now, cherry tomatoes. I prefer them over regular for this recipe. These cherry tomatoes have that wonderful sweetness to them that other tomatoes just can't replicate. Cut them in half. Nothing special. You know, it's one of those things where all these wonderful flavors, these are all sunshine flavors. Great, vibrant, and bold flavors we're all putting into this salsa. That's all going to just come together. Like I said, this requires no technical ability whatsoever. You have a knife, you have herbs, you have chilies. Congratulations, you can make a salsa. I have the biggest leaf here. Right there. Bunch that up. Roll it like a little cigar. Now you don't want to chop this too thin, or you don't want to be rough with it as not to bruise it. We're going to be grinding those up in just a second. Tarragon, another popular French herb. This is just going to help bring out more of that freshness in the salsa. You know, a lot of salsas that I've seen today, they just feel watered down constantly. I don't like it. I think a salsa should mimic what the dish should do. What I mean by that is food, you know, Hispanic food is vibrant, it's bold. Like this cilantro here. This wonderful flavor that goes very well with many meats. See, the problem with modern salsas is that they try and replace and overpower the flavor of the dish, when that shouldn't be the case at all. Salsa, and any condiment as a matter of fact, should be there to accentuate the flavor. So let's just say you're eating beef fajitas and you have this salsa right here. This won't overpower it. It's going to accentuate the flavor of the beef. Adding some of this curly leaf parsley here. You can use Italian, whichever you prefer. I just like to use curly leaf for dishes that aren't Italian in nature. Now this might look like a lot in our bowl right there, but once we cut it down, with the pulverizing and the juices we're going to add to it, it's going to be a lot more, let's just say, presentable. It gets some time. Thyme is amazing. Garlic. You know, I brought out 3 cloves. I think I might just use 2. But that's on you. That's your choice. You can do it fine, or you can do it kind of chunky. Doesn't really matter. Sharpen my knife. Always make sure you're working with sharp tools, or sharp knives. Not only is it unsafe to cut with sharp knives, but it's just a pain in the ass to do so. Finally, squeeze a lemon, half a lemon. You can use a whole. Then we are going to zest some of it. There we go. Now we're going to hit it with a somewhat generous portion of salt. About half a handful ought to do. That ought to be enough. Hands are all lemony and salty. Generous glug of olive oil. Crack some pepper in. Crack some black pepper. Give it a decent glug of white wine vinegar to help cut back the spiciness. We grab our pestle, and you just grind it up real good, because what we want to do now, we want to pulverize and bruise the herbs so they let out their flavors, as well as the chilies. I promise you, you put this into a Tupperware and let it sit and marinate in itself overnight, I promise you'll have the best salsa you could ever eat. And it's coming from one of my best friends, whose family descends from the native Tejanos. Give that just a little bit more, and just a tad bit, just to give it that nice little shimmer. And voila. Salsa in under 15 minutes. Eat this with anything. Pork, chicken, beef, fish, doesn't matter. This is a showstopper. Take this anywhere you'd like and watch the compliments come in. My name is Chef Tristone, and I thank you for watching this video. Look out for more content in the future, and I will see you later.